Tina Cooks is made possible through the generous support of
G's Hot Dog Cafe, home of the Chicago Dog.
Papa John's Pizza,
Leominster, Fitchburg, Marlborough, Worcester. KC's Body Connection Massage Center, connecting body, mind, and spirit.
Boucher Construction, Central Mass Sand and Gravel.
I've had numerous requests for more desserts. So tonight we're gonna do shortcake pies and cheesecake tarts. Stay tuned. We're going to start out with the shortcake pies. The first thing I'm going to do is butter a pie plate. I'm going to actually butter two because I'm making two variations of this pie. Now, what's a shortcake pie? I don't know. When I was in cooking school, Mount Wachusett, Al Gogin taught us these recipes. We had a lot of can filling, and he says we're going to do something. It was given to the school. So we had to do something with it. So this is what we came up with. Okay. Butter them real good so that the pie crust gets nice and golden brown on the bottom. Okay, like so. I'm going to set these aside. Okay, now the next thing I want to do is I'm going to make my pie crust. I'm going to double the recipe because I want two shells. It's 1/3 of shortening, which I'm going to use 2. Okay, I'm using these nice little stainless steel measuring cups my mother got me when she went to the beach. Oh, I'm almost out of shortening here, man. There we go. Okay, here's one. I always measure my pie crust, I don't know why, 1/3 and 1/3. I never do 2/3. I always measure it the accurate measurements. Just seems to come out better. Dangerous tonight, Carl. So I gotta be careful because this is, I have a very bad habit of banging stuff. I don't want to bang my glass with metal. It won't work out good. We'll have glass chips in the pie crust. Sometimes you don't mind finding a chicken bone or something, but a piece of glass I think would be upsetting. All right, we're gonna have 2 cups of flour. I love these little frying pans. They're so cute. Okay. Don't fall in love with my flour container. You can't have it. And there we go, 2 cups of flour. Now my salt, I'm just gonna put in a big old tablespoon of salt. Now I use a coarse salt. I don't use a fine salt. I use a kosher coarse salt. I'm gonna just mix that around a little bit. Now what you gotta do with pie crust is you just gotta work it with your fingers, like this, till it gets all nice and flaky. Rub it in. This is the most important part of a pie crust. This is what makes it flaky. You gotta work your shortening in so that it's like a mealy texture. I know we've done pie crust on the show before, but I always try to stress you wanna mix it completely before you add your water, because once you start putting in your water, you're not gonna mix it anymore. You're just gonna press it down and put the water in. That's what makes it nice and tender. Now, my armband is for tendonitis. I'm not mourning anybody. It's just tendonitis in my elbow, and I'm working on getting that fixed. I gotta go for physical therapy. So here we go. Now this is what you want your flour and your shortening to look like. Nice and broken up, all little pea balls in there. Okay? That's a new word, pea balls. Now normally I put 3 tablespoons, I get an itchy nose, 3 tablespoons of water. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And because I'm doubling the recipe, I'm going to put an extra one in. All right, and then you just take your fingers and you swirl it around, you move them around. If you see that it's still dry, you might need more water. It's just a matter of checking the dough. See how it's all coming together? And I'm not really kneading it. You don't want to knead it. You just want to push it together. Take it out on your table. Okay? And then I'm just going to press down. I do want a tish more water. So I'm just going to sprinkle the water on top and press it in like that and pull it together. All right, and that's it. That's your pie crust. You don't want to work it too much because then it will get really tough. I worked with the kids this summer and they did pie crust and they did a good job. I was very proud of them. All right. Now, it's going to be very flaky, as you can tell. I'm going to let this rest for a few minutes in the refrigerator. I'm going to take a few minute break just till it chills down a little bit. We'll be back. Okay, we're going to get our dough out of the fridge. It's been chilling a couple of minutes. I leave it in about 10-15 minutes. I don't want it totally cold because I want to be able to work with it. I'm going to cut this in half. And we're going to do 2 pie shells because I'm going to do 1 apple with a spice cake and 1 blueberry with a white cake. They're going to be delicious. I don't know where they got this recipe, but it worked out good when we did it in school. They were really good. Oh, my elbow. My elbow. All right, we're going to roll these out. Roll and turn. Roll and turn. Roll and turn. If you start to stick a little bit, put a little flour down, flip it over. I got a little earthquake there, just press it in. Okay. Now gourmet pie shells, you're not going to get out of me. I do a decent, good pie crust. Sometimes they look fabulous, sometimes a little earthquake, but hey, that's what cooking's all about. Got to enjoy what you're doing, you got to enjoy your cooking. Okay. This is getting pretty good. Let's see. This end's a little fatter. I always feel the dough, because you can always feel when you have a thicker pot. You want it pretty even. You know, this pot's a little thicker. So we're going to roll this down. Okay. Now we're going to put this in the shell. The first shell. Right to the halfway point. Flip it over. You want to pat it in. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to take some from here, because I got a lot on that side and nothing here. And a little bit from here, and put it here. Now we're pretty even. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to take the edges and roll and push it in. Now what I'm going to do before I push this aside is I'm going to fork it, because I don't want it to puff up, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to bake these shells just a little bit so that the bottoms get nice and golden brown. Not very long, maybe 5-10 minutes to get them going, so that the cake won't take as long as that pie crust would take to bake. Because you got to bake the cake on a lower temperature, like 350, which it'll take a long time for those to get nice and golden brown at 350. Do the same thing. to make this even quicker because I bought canned filling and a cake mix. If you want to make it even a quicker dessert, you can buy a pie crust if you want. They have them. They have a lot of pie crust now. You can get it in a box. You can get it all rolled out, and it'll actually make the process quicker. All right, so those are done. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of aluminum foil, and I'm going to put it in here like this. Okay, and these are my tart shell peas. That's how I label them, tart shell peas. And what this is going to do is it's going to keep the pie crust down on the bottom so that it doesn't get all poofy. Poofy. Here we go. Put the tin foil. Try not to push your crust in with your tin foil like I just did. And there we go. I'll also put those down. I'm going to put these into a 400-degree oven. Now I'm convection baking. Now when I convection bake 400 degrees in a convection oven, if you have a regular bake, you want it 425. Okay. Now put those in. Just to give them a little bit of a head start. Okay, now, what I have here is a white cake and a spice cake. I bought the white cake for the blueberry filling, and I bought the spice cake for the apple filling. Now you can buy strawberry rhubarb, you can buy lemon, you can buy any kind of filling you want to put in this. You can buy, if you want to do something different, if you don't like blueberries or you don't like apples, you can buy whatever you'd like. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mix up the cake mixes, just like they say in the box, with oil and eggs and water. So I'm going to get my first setting of stuff of water. Now when I make a cake, I don't use an olive oil. I use a vegetable oil. Or this one actually does have a little olive oil in it. And this is 1/3 of a cup. Okay. And we're going to need 3 eggs. So we'll do this. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to dump those in there. I'm going to get my whisk. I'm going to put my whisk in there. Come on. And then we're going to go with the spice cake first. Left the garage door open. Close the garage. There we go. All right. Trusty scissors. Okay. Oh, I love spice cake. I love the way that smells. That is going to be so good on the apples. It's going to be delicious. All right, so let's mix this baby up. All right, let me just scrape over here. All right, so we have a white cake and our apple spice cake. White cake and our spice cake. We have blueberry filling and apple filling. Now we just gotta wait for the pie crust. Okay, now these are our pie crusts. Now you can see that they're not really baked off that much. They did start to brown just a little bit. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our canned filling, just a regular can of filling, and we're gonna dump it in here like this. Okay. Now we don't want to fill it all the way because we want to put cake on top of this. All right. Gee, my blueberries are a little light. I wonder if someone tasted the blueberries. There we go. Now we're going to put the apple in here. Ooh, that looks good. Now if you want to make your own filling, if you want to take the time to make your own filling, you know, with fresh fruit and some sugar, and you simmer it down and thicken it with some cornstarch, you can do that, but I'm trying to make these quick. There we go, there's the apple filling. Now, the next thing we want to do is we want to put on our cake. We're going to take our spice and we're going to put this over here like this. Just like so. Now this is going to rise, so you don't want it too full, but you want to make sure your apples are covered. Okay, we'll just put a little tiny bit more and that's it. Now what I like to do is just tap a little bit, get the air bubbles out. Okay, now we're going to do the white one. Okay, now usually I used to get what they call a Jiffy mix, which is a small mix, but I couldn't find them the other day. I looked and looked and looked and I just couldn't find them, so I just got the regular cake mix, but that's okay because I'm going to make cupcakes with the leftover. Never have a problem using something left over. And just tap them out a little bit. See how the air bubbles are coming to the top? Now I put my heat down to 325. Now that's a convection bake is 325. If you were baking in a regular oven, it would be 350. We're going to pop these in the oven. They're going to go a good 15-20 minutes and we'll check them. Okay, we have the white cake with the blueberry and the spice cake with the apple out. They're all cooked. They're nice. It rolls nice. They did take about 30-35 minutes. I did put the temperature up to 350, so you want to bake on 350. And that's how they're going to look. We're going to let them cool, and then we'll give them a try. Here we go with a quick little dessert. It's going to be mini cheesecakes. Now, instead of using a graham cracker crust, I'm going to use some pizzellas I had in the freezer. Okay, and I'm just going to break them up in there. Now, the pizzellas are pretty sweet, so I'm not going to add a lot of sugar to this, just a little tiny bit. Okay, I'm just going to go like this, a little bit around. If you want, you can also put nuts in here, which is really good too. And then we're going to process them up. This is going to make a little noise. I'm going to pulse toward the end because I want a few little chunks in there. Now what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take this out because I don't want to grind them any more than what they are. Okay? I'm going to take this, if I can get it off. I'm going to put this on the counter. And I've got about 3 tablespoons of butter here. And we're just going to put these in there. Okay? Like that. And then I'm going to swirl it around so that the butter gets in there. Any big chunks of cookies, break them up. All right, because you want them to be able to stick together in the oven when they bake. And this is going to help us. I really should have a mixing bowl with this, but I don't have one, so I'm going to make do. I don't feel like grabbing one right now. So you mix in your butter just like that. You get them all nice and moist. Make sure you have your cookies there. I'm going to spray this with a little bit of non-stick spray to make sure that they don't stick. Okay? Because what good is it if they stick? Alrighty. Then I'm going to scoop in 1 scoop. We're going to press these down like this. Okay? And I am going to put these into a 350-degree convection bake oven, just for a few minutes to crisp them up a little bit. All right, we're going to start with the cream cheese. First, I'm going to mix it up to make sure it's nice and soft. You want it room temperature. You want it soft. Otherwise, you're going to have lumpy cheesecake. Okay. Now, what I'm going to add to this is a cup of sugar. I think this is a lot, so I'm going to put half of it with an egg. Okay, 1 egg. I'm going to put 2 eggs in eventually, but I do a little bit at the time, okay? Because you want to make sure your eggs are incorporated and your cream cheese is nice and smooth. I'm going to add some more sugar. I'm going to say I put 3/4 of a cup in there. Then I'll taste it. If it's not sweet enough, I'll put a little more. I don't like a real sweet, overly sweet cheesecake because I like the toppings to really sweeten it up. I'm going to stop again and I'm going to add some vanilla. I'm going to put about a teaspoon. This is pure vanilla. So if you have an imitation vanilla, you might want to add 1.5, maybe 2. It's not as strong as the pure vanilla. Now in the other cheesecakes that I've made, I've added lemon. Lemon is a nice clean flavor. It doesn't have a sweet vanilla-y taste. It's nice and it's better for like an Italian New York cheesecake or ricotta pie. But I use a real lemon. I don't use an flavoring. All right, let's see this. I think that's sweet enough for me, but you should probably use a cup. I like it a little less sweet. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fold in a cup of sour cream. Okay. I'm going to take these beaters out because I want to fold it in. I don't want to mix it in. I want to fold it. Okay? Oh, that's good. Okay, we're going to fold this in. And there we go. All right, now we're just going to wait for our cookies to brown a little bit. We'll check those in a second. Just a tish. This is good. They're just starting to get a little brown. I'll put that down. I'm going to let this cool before I throw my cheesecake in it, actually. Let it cool a few minutes. So, taking the excess spray off so that it doesn't darken the cheesecake, because that will. All right, let's see how we make out with this now. Now the toppings on these can be endless. You can use strawberries, blueberries. You can use all kinds of toppings. I've done turtle with caramel and chocolate. I'm probably going to use some fresh cantaloupe. And, oh, I hate to waste it, but they might go over if I put too much more. Okay. Now we're going to pop this into a 325 degree. I'm convection baking, so it's 325. If you're using a regular oven, you're going to want to go 350, okay? Convection baking is about 25 degrees off from a regular oven bake, okay? So we're going to put these in, and we're going to check them in about 25-30 minutes. And we'll be back. We're going to take out our cheesecakes. Our cheesecakes are done. Okay, here we go. Oh, they're nice and fluffy, a little cracky, but that's okay because they're going to have nice fruit and stuff on them. Now, when you take cheesecakes out of the oven, you want to put them on the stove out of breezes because that'll make them crack more. Okay, so we're going to let those rest, and we'll be back to top them when they're cool. So now we have our cheesecakes. They cooled a little bit. I had one little earthquake cheesecake right there, so we're going to put him in the bag. All right. Now they are a little cracked up and stuff, but they are really good because I'm tasting these little crumbs here. Oh my goodness, they're very good. I'm going to get this out of my way. Okay. And now we're going to top these. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to do 3 of them caramel and 3 of them cantaloupe with some orange marmalade. I'm going to do caramel over here. This is just a squeezed caramel. It's not anything, you know. You can get, you know, the one in the jar that you can use, or this. This works great. I'm going to fill up this one to earthquakey. And there we go. That's the caramel. Now we're going to put a little bit of chocolate. This is just semi-sweet morsels that I melted. Okay. And I'm just going to drizzle this all over here like this. It's not drizzling very good now, is it? But that's okay. They're going to be delicious anyways. There we go. Some there. And then we're going to do this one here, like this. These are going to be wonderful. And what we're going to do is we're going to chill them. And then a little bit before you serve them, you want to put them at room temperature so the chocolate not gets real soft, but it's not really, really cold either. Drizzle that with chocolate. There we go. Ooh, doesn't that look good? Then we're going to take some walnuts. I'm going to sprinkle those all on the top so your earthquakes don't really show too much. But that one really earthquake because I couldn't take it out of the pan. See that? Even with the spray and everything that I used, it's still earthquaked. The next ones I'm going to put some nice fresh fruit on. I got this wonderful cantaloupe that I want to use. And it's really, really sweet. It's almost the end of the summer too, so we're not going to get too many beautiful cantaloupes like this anymore. We're just going to layer them in like this. And then to glaze up the cantaloupe, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get I got some orange marmalade, and I melted it down in the microwave, got it nice and hot. And we're just, oops, wait a minute. And we're just going to, we're going to glaze these over so that they get shiny. But you don't want to put a lot because you don't want to really taste the marmalade too much. You just want to glaze up your fruit like this. See? So it's got a nice little glaze to it. Would have helped if I used a little more marmalade too, but. I'm not going to put nuts on the cantaloupe one. And there we go. We have our little mini cheesecakes. Okay, the pies are ready to be cut. They're cool. Let's give them a shot. How we're going. Oh yeah, look at that. Neato. Take a little bit more blueberries out of here like this. Now let's try the apple. I don't care if there's little blueberries on my apple. Ooh, this first piece is always the toughest. Oh yeah, look at that. Beautiful, beautiful. Alrighty, come on, Carl, come and taste this with me. You taste the blueberry that you've been dabbling in all night. Well, I hope shortcake pies and cheesecakes are on your list for the holidays. Thank you for watching Tina Cooks. Have a good night. What I'm going to do with my extra stuff. Cupcake. Oh, my cupcake things went everywhere. That's all right. I'll move these over here for now. All right. That's a cut.